What is going on, chat, man? We are back, and today we are reacting to how good was Orlando Shaq actually, man. You know, we recently reacted to Shaq's highlights on my channel. If you guys want to go check that out, you guys can. And today I'm trying to find out how good Shaq was, man. You know, this was highly anticipated and highly recommended, man. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. And if you guys are new to my channel and enjoy this type of content, man, or you just enjoy basketball content or sports content in general, you know, hit that subscribe button, man, and join the crew. But hey, let's get straight into the video. Yes, sir.
First pick in the 1992 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic selects Shaquille O'Neal from Louisiana State University.
When Shaquille O'Neal entered the NBA, the Orlando Magic instantly became must-watch basketball.
Oh my goodness, Shaquille O'Neal, what an athlete!
He quickly started to break records, backboards,
I've never seen that.
and opponents' spirits. Shaq also did what many thought was impossible, defeated Michael Jordan in the playoffs and carried his franchise to the finals faster than most modern superstars. But he was still too immature to win it all, just like the franchise that drafted him.
We could have beat Houston, but that was all my fault. It really was. We were rolling and we beat the Bulls. We was going crazy. Like, we beat Mike.
It's kind of impressive that Shaq beat Michael Jordan, like, in a playoff series. I don't even think, like, in the 90s, Jordan was losing until he lost to, you know, Shaq.
Even though O'Neal's dominance is mostly associated with his years as a Laker, young Shaq was dominant in a completely different way. Weighing a whopping 130 pounds less than in 2002 when he won his third championship with the Lakers, O'Neal could run the floor like a gazelle and zip past most opposing big men.
O'Neal runs the floor, takes it all the way.
And even though he only spent 4 years in Orlando, those 4 years were just like the franchise's name, Magic. But how good was Orlando Shaq actually? And should he have achieved more playing for the Magic? By his own admission, Shaq wasn't the best collegiate player during his 3-year tenure at LSU. Despite averaging 26 points,
Played 3 years at LSU? What? He didn't go straight to the NBA? I thought Shaq went straight to the NBA.
14 rebounds and 5 blocks in his last 2 seasons, O'Neal gracefully put Duke's Christian Laettner at the helm for the best collegiate center. And the Dream Team thought so too, selecting Laettner to represent Team USA at the 1992 Olympics.
Christian Laettner, he had a better college career than me. Sometimes you have to sit down and just be honest. I'm the best player, I should be on the team. But then I don't want to be on the team anyway if I ain't gonna play. So he had a better career, so I said, okay, but you still keep it here, and it just drives you. So now I have to ensure that I'm the first pick.
But back in those days, O'Neal was still a mystery. Even though he had enormous potential, Shaq was still viewed as somebody who dominated in college just because of his size. However, the Magic were a young franchise in desperate need of a star. They were founded in 1989, and in their first 3 NBA seasons, they averaged only 23 wins, and they needed a superstar to win games and sell tickets.
Orlando was made in 89, bro. I thought Orlando was just a team that was made off the bat when the NBA was a thing. I didn't know that they were made, and then, you know, Shaq came later on and cooked. I didn't
Because
know
Shaq's
that.
physical dominance was just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody in the 92 NBA draft, the Magic selected him with the first overall pick, while Laettner got picked up 3rd by the Timberwolves. But if anybody had doubts about
Was
Shaq,
Christian Laettner good in the NBA, by the way, chat? I don't really know anything about Christian Laettner, so can you guys let me know down below?
the big man silenced them faster than any other player in history. He averaged 25 points and 17 rebounds per game in his first 4 games, becoming the first player to ever win Player of the Week in his first week of NBA basketball. And despite being stronger than any other player, Shaq wasn't just some brute with no skill. O'Neal could handle the ball to lead the break or unleash a crossover that left opponents in the dust. He could consistently make short jump shots and hit teammates with pinpoint passes. We had never
So Shaq is like Giannis in the 90s, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
seen a player that big move with that kind of agility, and Shaq truly was an anomaly. His spins were so quick that he looked like a ballet dancer, and he would slip past the defenders with moves that had nothing to do with pure power. But his size and strength stole the headlines, especially after O'Neal brought down the basket in Phoenix.
Coming off the bench as O'Neal follows and almost and does bring down the entire backcourt.
And then completely tore the hoop in New Jersey 2 months later.
Bro, like, this is, I've never seen this. Like I've seen this right before, but I've never seen this in modern history, bro. Like never. There's no guy that's this strong to do this, bro.
After his rookie season, the NBA had no choice but to fortify and Shaq-proof the baskets, upgrading the backboards to be more durable, requiring a backup hoop at every game, and installing a breakaway rim system that bends under pressure. O'Neal averaged 23.4 points on 56.2% shooting, 13.9 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game in his first season, and was 2 votes shy of winning Rookie of the Year unanimously. Shaq was also the first rookie to be voted an All-Star starter since Michael Jordan in 1985.
Let's go back to those early years for Patrick Ewing as Shaq goes up and sends it down.
Whoa! The Magic won 20 more games than the previous season, finishing the season with a 41-41 record, but missed the playoffs by virtue of a tiebreaker with the Indiana Pacers. However, that proved to be a blessing in disguise. Because they didn't make the playoffs, the Magic ended up in the lottery. And even though they only had a 1% chance to get the #1 pick in the draft, Lady Luck was on their side, and Orlando had the first overall pick for the second year in a row.
And believe it or not, the first pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Orlando Magic.
But while Orlando was prepping for the draft, O'Neal was doing what he did, maybe even better than basketball, being an entertainer. And because he was just as good in front of the camera as he was on the court, he quickly
Bro, he was an entertainer? So, like, I've seen Shaq in movies, you know, so during this time frame, you know, he plays in Orlando. Did he, like, co-star in Disney movies, Disney shows? Like, let me know. I'm curious about this, actually, chat.
became one of the most popular players in the NBA. Marketing executives and film producers fell in love with Shaq, too. And after his rookie season, he got offered a role in a basketball film called Blue Chips, where he first met a guy named Penny Hardaway. And when Shaq first saw Penny, he wasn't familiar with his game, actually believing that Hardaway was an actor.
I was like, yo, man, who the fuck is this actor? Because, we on the movie said that's Penny Hardaway. And I don't know about you, but I don't be looking at college players seeing who the fuck I'm behind. I got to do so.
But everybody in the world believed that Orlando would use their #1 pick on power forward Chris Webber, who was universally considered the best collegiate player. However, during the shooting of Blue Chips, O'Neal got so enamored with Penny's game that he gave Orlando the ultimatum: either draft Penny or lose me.
We might not
That's crazy. Either draft Penny or lose me?
Then we want the first pick. We want to go with C-Web. Nah, that. You're going to have to get Penny. My deal is up in 2 years. If you don't give me what I want to help me win this championship, I'm going to have to look elsewhere.
And when the 1993 draft came around, the Magic drafted
Chris Webber.
and Shaq was furious.
I'm just tearing the motherfucking house apart. Because I'm like, these motherfuckers didn't listen to me, they tested me. Because now that I put myself in charge, motherfucker, I'm in charge. You're going to have to do what the fuck I say, or else I'm going to have to go somewhere where they're going to let me.
That's crazy. So if Shaq left his team, would that have affected the NBA during this time frame, though?
Me be in charge.
But moments later, it was announced that his wish was granted.
They say, wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to report a trade. Orlando has traded the draft rights to Chris Webber to Golden State in exchange for the draft rights to Anthony Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks.
And I was like, oh, shit, they did it. They listened to me.
Then, when the season started, Penny and Shaq continued to build on the magic that started on the movie set. The young, fast, and athletic Orlando Magic became the most fun team in the league, with many fast breaks and transition dunks.
Lost to Hardaway. Here is Shaq, baby. Oh!
Hardaway was the perfect partner for O'Neal, as he was a pass-first point guard who could run the court and feed his big man.
Magic run out 4-on-3. Left wing pass to Hardaway. To O'Neal. He flies home. Oh, boy. Great look, Penny Hardaway.
Far more frequently than Kobe ever wanted to when Shaq joined the Lakers. And Shaq was hungry, literally, because he started pumping iron in the gym, surpassing 300 pounds in his sophomore season. And
300 pounds? That's his second to third season he's doing this. Bro, he was serious.
metaphorically, because he wanted to destroy every opponent. But while Shaq bulked up in the gym, you can make your pockets bulk up during the playoffs this year, which is why this episode of Nonstop, it's been higher than picks were on offer not 24/7, 60% shooting, leading the NBA in field goal percentage. Shaq nearly won the scoring title, but in the final game of the season, David Robinson scored 71 points to win the scoring crown over Shaq by point.
I know he was mad, bro. Who just randomly scored 71 points in the 90s? I know Shaq was pissed, bro.
0.06 points per game.
What?
Apart from scoring, O'Neal also grabbed 13 rebounds and rejected 3 shots per game, which earned him a selection to the All-NBA third team, and he finished 4th in MVP voting. His best
Did Shaq ever win an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, chat?
game of the season came against his hometown New Jersey Nets, when O'Neal registered the first triple-double of his career, recording 24 points to go along with 28 rebounds and an unreal 15 blocks, both of which were career.
What? 15 blocks and 28 rebounds? Who was he bullying today? This game, I mean.
Highs.
Blocked by Shaquille, his 15th block of the ball game.
But even though Orlando won 50 games in the regular season, the more experienced Indiana Pacers showed them that playoff basketball was something different. The Magic got swept.
This is an Indiana team that has now won its 11th game in a row. They had the second best record of the NBA over the last 6 weeks of the season, and they are in the second round of the playoffs.
And Shaq had an underwhelming series, averaging 20.7 points per game, 9 points fewer than the regular season. But despite their plethora of young talent, the Magic were aware of their chronic lack of experience. So in the summer of '94, they brought in Horace Grant, one of the key pieces of the 3-time champion Chicago Bulls. Brian Shaw also arrived, and the Magic were ready to take the next step. And they did. Hardaway was the conductor of the show. O'Neal attacked the rim with no mercy. Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott were hitting from the outside when Shaq got doubled. Horace Grant did all the dirty work, and B. Shaw was there to steady the ship off the bench. Orlando finished the season with 57 wins and had the #1 seed in the East with the best offensive rating in the NBA. Shaq averaged 29.3 points per game, exactly the same as the previous year. But this time, it was enough to win the scoring title. But David
Shaq Superman back then too, chat, so why they call him Superman?
Robinson once again defeated Shaq in an even more important award for league MVP. However, once the playoffs started, Shaq couldn't be stopped. O'Neal ruled supreme in the paint, leading all players in scoring and rebound, as the Magic defeated the Celtics 3-1 in the first round, thus winning their first playoff series in franchise history. But in the second round, awaited the biggest test of Shaq and Orlando's NBA journey. The clash with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, who returned to the NBA after a year-and-a-half hiatus for baseball. In Game 1, Shaq dominated, leading all scorers with 26 points and 12 rebounds, as the Magic won 94-91. In the final seconds of the game, Orlando's Nick Anderson stole the ball from Jordan to clinch the game for the Magic.
Spinning his way against Anderson.
Bro, that's a crazy steal, bro. That's like something you remember for the rest of your life.
And in a post-game interview, Anderson said that 45 wasn't 23. Jordan had switched to number 45 when he returned from baseball. Once he heard Anderson's comment, he returned to his old number. Wearing 23 again, Jordan went berserk in Game 2, finishing with 38 points in a 104-94 Bulls victory. After 5 games, Orlando had a 3-2 lead, but Game 6 was played in Chicago, and everybody expected Jordan to lead the Bulls to victory and extend the series. But Shaq had other plans. With 27 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals, O'Neal did everything possible to push the Magic to victory.
Oh, look at Shaq with a steal. Look at him handling it.
Shaq is so fast.
The court. Oh my goodness, Shaquille O'Neal, what an athlete! Are you?
And they edged out the Bulls 108-102, advancing to the conference finals. For the series, O'Neal averaged 24, 13, and 4, showing that he made tremendous progress as a playmaker and was one of the best passing centers in the NBA, a role many people never gave him credit for. But in the conference finals, the Magic faced the Pacers, who had served them a painful lesson the previous season. The series was extremely close, with home teams winning each of the first 6 games, with everything to play for in Game 7. And playing in front of their home crowd, Orlando blew out Indiana, winning by 24 and making their first trip to the NBA Finals behind stellar play from O'Neal, who averaged 27 points and 10 rebounds per game.
The Orlando Magic heading to the NBA title.
In the finals, against the Houston Rockets, the center of attention was the battle between Shaq and Hakeem Olajuwon. But it was the role players who were the biggest story.
Probably like a crazy battle at the time, chat. Hakeem versus Shaq. How y'all feel about that back then? Let me know.
Of Game 1 of the finals. With 10 seconds left in the game, Orlando was up 3 and had the ball. After a foul on Nick Anderson, Orlando's guard missed both free throws. However, he managed to get the rebound and was fouled again.
And Anderson missing on both, but gets to the rebound and again draws the foul.
But 2 more free throws brought 2 more misses. If Anderson had made just 1, the game would be over. But with 2 seconds left, Kenny Smith hit a 3-pointer to tie the game and send it to overtime.
Looking for the three, he's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game.
Where Houston managed to prevail and win Game 1 on the road.
Drexler puts the ball on Anderson. The finger roll, the tip by Olajuwon. The Rockets lead 0.3 of a second.
This loss zapped the energy from the Magic, and the experienced Rockets took advantage. Even though the games were close, Houston won the next 3 and swept the overly confident kids from Orlando. But even though they got swept and outscored by Hakeem, O'Neal still had the best series of his career, averaging 28 points, 12.5 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and 2.5
He was trying his best, but he said it wasn't enough. Wow.
blocks per game, while making 60% of his shots. But despite his great play, the Big Diesel was still extremely young and wasn't yet a good leader. Shaq later admitted that he and Dennis Scott partied for a week straight after they won the East, thinking that if they defeated Jordan, they would easily win the championship.
We did it and we beat them, and we had 10 days off. And that's when the trouble started. Parties at my crib, parties at D. Scott crib. Me and D. Scott, we in this little ass jet. We fly to Atlanta. We in Magic City for 2 days because we had 5 days off. So we was going crazy. Like, we beat Mike. And we had beat Houston during the year. This is about to be my first ring, so I didn't know how to keep that focus.
And after he missed only 5 games in his first 3 seasons, in 1996, Shaq was dealing with injuries for the first time, missing 28 games. He averaged 26.6 points and 11 rebounds per game and made the All-NBA third team. Despite O'Neal's injuries, the Magic finished with a regular season record of 60-22, second in the Eastern Conference behind the Chicago Bulls, who set an NBA record with 72 wins. In the first round of the playoffs, Orlando easily swept the Pistons, and in the second round, they got past the Hawks in 5 games. The stage was set for the 2 best teams in the East for a heavyweight showdown. But this time, Orlando had no chance against the 72-10 Chicago Bulls. The Bulls swept the Magic, and even when the game was
Jordan came back the next year and swept him.
close, Jordan always found an extra gear to keep Orlando winless. The Bulls also killed the Magic on the boards, grabbing 60 more rebounds than Orlando. And Rodman alone had nearly as many offensive rebounds as the entire Magic team. But despite not winning the title, Shaq had an excellent playoff run. In 12 postseason games, O'Neal averaged 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.6 assists, while making 60% of his shots. There was still room for improvement, especially on the defensive end, but everyone believed that the Magic would become a dynasty, since Shaq and Penny were only 24 years old. O'Neal became a free agent after the season, but nobody expected him to go anywhere, as Orlando had his bird rights and could offer him the most money. But the Magic dropped the ball, and they dropped it hard. With players like Alonzo Mourning and Juwan Howard getting $100 million deals, Orlando only offered Shaq $54 million, explaining how—
Ooh, yeah, I can tell that probably pissed him off, bro, because he was probably better than them at that time, chat. If I'm not mistaken, was he, chat? Let me know down below.
they needed to save money to keep Penny Hardaway. O'Neal was rightfully offended, but he still wanted to stay. And then the negotiations kept stalling, and Jerry West swooped in, offering O'Neal $120 million to sign with the Lakers. On top of that, the Orlando Sentinel conducted a poll in which 91% of its readers voted that Shaq didn't deserve a max extension. Well, after insults from both his team and his city, O'Neal had made up his mind. Even though the Magic eventually offered him $115 million, it was too late. The lure of Hollywood was too strong, and Shaq signed the biggest contract in basketball history at the time, leaving Orlando after only 4 years.
In case you haven't figured it out yet, I've signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. Keep in mind the word change. To me, change.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about this move, him going to the Lakers at this time? Was it like a very, very L decision?
Was good.
In 295 regular season games, Shaq averaged 27.2 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 2.8 blocks per game, while shooting 58% from the field. In the playoffs, his scoring dropped to 25.3 points, but his assists rose to 3.7 per game, helping Orlando to win 22 playoff games. After Shaq left, the Magic had just 13 playoff wins from 1997 to 2008. During his first 4 years in the NBA, it was the most athletic version of Shaq, as he was a guy who could run the floor and finish with a thunderous dunk on seemingly every possession.
Shaq made my life easy, bro. It was 30 every night for him. I know rim running isn't a big thing nowadays for everybody, but he was the best rim runner back then that I had ever seen. Shaq made it personal. He'd get like 8 to 10 points a game on just rim running down the court before everybody got down there.
O'Neal's game back then was almost like the 90s version of Giannis. And if Shaq played in today's NBA, he would probably develop his handle even further and be allowed to play full court. But during the 90s and early 2000s, basketball was played inside the three-point line. And that's why Shaq's most dominant years came with the Lakers, when he bulked up and became even more dangerous in the post. But that's not saying that O'Neal wasn't dominant in the post already in Orlando. His spin move alone, when combined with his size, made him a near unstoppable force around the rim.
It's like you can't even block it, too.
And because Shaq could finish post moves with either a soft-touched hook shot or a powerful dunk, it made him almost impossible to guard. However, probably the biggest difference was in mentality, as the young Orlando Shaq was more worried about having fun, without the immense pressure to win. He made music, movies, and TV shows. He owned clothing lines and record labels.
That's impressive, though, that he was doing all of this in the NBA.
Partied and was too distracted to win immediately. But even with all that, Orlando Shaq was a dominant force, finishing in the top 10 in MVP voting in each of his 4 seasons with the Magic.
Oh, baby! Oh, my goodness! He went flying through the air!
And despite the messy divorce, Shaq remains a Magic legend who gave Orlando their first taste of basketball glory, and for which he deservedly got his number retired by the franchise. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, we have another one for you.
Chat, let me know down below what you guys think about this, man. I didn't know Shaq was this impressive, bro, on Orlando. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's kind of interesting learning about, players past and, how they were in the NBA, man. But, with that being said, let me know down below what you guys think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, because this is the end of the video. And, recommend me some more bangers to react to, man. But with that being said, I'll catch y'all next time. Yes, sir.